Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm. And today we're gonna carry on our series. And if you guys remember what we did on the last episode, is that we have done the widget control. So now we have the widget that shows and hides as the player start to walk around, which is really good. So what we're gonna be doing today is that we're gonna be loading all those options into this little widget there. Right. So to do that. Actually, let me just make this window a little bit bigger because it's too small and I can't see properly. Right, so to do that, we already have done the logic that handles this, which is great. This is all we need. Now, when we open up this, I'm just gonna call this, open and close the widget, right? When that happens inside the widget, now we need to basically pass our current loadout options as an option. So on the Helldiver window here, I'm going to delete this. We don't need it anymore. I'm going to create a new variable. And that variable is going to be called the loaded spawn items, or and that's going to be, let's say, st option st or st spawn option. There you go. This is gonna be public. Make sure it's exposed on spawn and is a array because we needed to replicate it. We need to loop this through. Now, if you go back to the component and I refresh this widget, I have this option that I can drag and drop this here. That's all we gotta do, right? Nice, so that's perfect for us. Now, we may need to adjust this widget in the future, but let's do it the loading part first. Right, so on the widget, what we can do is that we need to first identify what we're trying to do. So we're trying to load data inside the vertical box. So the vertical box here is going to be the spawn options data. And what we basically need to do here is that we need to mark this as a variable. Go back here. And we're going to clear all the children because I don't want to have anything there. I just want to make sure everything's clean. And I'm gonna get the loaded spawn items, and we're gonna do a for each loop. And from that, I'm gonna create a widget, right? I'm gonna create a widget. You guys remember the widget's called WP spawn parent. That's the parent of everything. And we're gonna plug this one here, and there you go. And I'm going to create here a custom event called API load or refresh spawn options. I probably would like to keep more consistently with my names, the one I use, but that'll be fine for now. Now I'm gonna just basically, if you want to comment, say, this loads and or reload all the options for the player spawn. Nice. Now we can compile and save. Now we could basically, instead of calling this on the event construct, I'm gonna handle when I want to call this. So I'm gonna do it right here. So after this is visible, I'm gonna call this here, and I'm just gonna plug it right there. Good. So I'm just gonna align this better, file and save, and now that should doesn't work. Let's check why it's not working. I know why it's not working. It's because we're not adding our widgets to anything. They're just hanging around. So basically all you have to do is that you have to add a child. Yeah, one thing, guys, I would like to do here as well, that I will be a nice thing, is that I'm going to promote this to a variable. And this variable is going to be array, okay? And I'm going to call this, you know, available widget, available spawn items. Because in this way, as the player start to, you know, press up and down and all sorts, I can try to loop through all this stuff in real time and then find the combinations keys that you pressed and then try to, you know, clear or make sure it's red or whatever the color Helldiver does. Right, so now if I press Control, I have that stuff, but now I have a problem. Combination keys are not loading. Let's check what's going on with that. Probably it's the same problem that we had here. We haven't added to the child. So on the spawn parent, add the key actions. Yeah, and yeah, exactly the same problem. Get the keys, and we're just gonna add child, and we're gonna add it right there. Cool. Now we are gonna press play, and let's see how that's gonna work. So as you can see, that's working. We do need to add some padding because the padding doesn't look great. So let's just add some padding here. So to do this, we can just, you know, I think we're just gonna add padding or set padding. And the padding that we would like to do here is that we wanna set some stuff from the left. Press Control, and there you go. You can see that we have a better padding already. Actually, what we could probably do here is that if yeah, maybe you could do a select, let's say. I know it's a little bit of overkill, but it's too much now. This is it's fine. Let's just do like that. So we're gonna copy this here. It's gonna delete that, but we're gonna create here a branch that if this is less than 0, we add it. We just do this. If it's false, we're just gonna set the padding, because it's the first one. We don't really want to do anything for the first. Oh, I have an error. Oh yeah, I know that. So let me just make a margin, and we're gonna add 10 to the left. Press play. There we go. I think that's working, right? So I think maybe less or equal than 0. Yeah, okay. As you can see, it is aligned with the text. Great. So now we have that information, you know, proper setup. And I'll just need to make sure we get the keys and everything, the combinations working properly for us. All right, so to do this, what we're gonna do next is that we need to find a way to identify if that widget is open, which we already do, by the way, because on the player here, when you press, we already, you know, the player can't move, so we make so the player doesn't. In Helldiver, I don't think you can move. You stay still. So we need to do the same. So if I press Control, you have to stay still in the place. You can't move. Or maybe, actually, maybe that's a lie. You can move in the game. Yeah, you can move in the game. So that's fine. We don't need to worry about that. Now we need to find a way to, you know, get the key that has been pressed or not in sequence, right? So what we're gonna do here is that we need to create that logic where if I press down, all the keys that they are down, they have pressed. And we probably could change the color to be green or red, depending if they're acceptable or not. So let's see how can we do that logic. So to do that, we're gonna open up our key action, and I'm gonna do something very simple here, which is basically I'm gonna change the tint of the image. So it's gonna be success, failure, and if nothing happened, just leave it like that, which is basically, what you're looking for. So what we're going to be doing now is that we're going to create that logic, and we're going to create here a variable called. We need two variables. So the first one here is that we need to know. Let's say, do we need to know the index of this? Yes, we need to know the index. Yeah, so index or key sequence, key sequence, key number sequence. Yeah, key number sequence. That's gonna be integer, and is successfully, or sorry, it's correct, or is, say, is successfully, and that's gonna be a boolean, right? Or maybe I think we just can write right, or a valid combination. Nice. Combination. There you go. So that's fine. We got this working properly now, which is great. So now the idea is that when I press Control, and if I hit the keyboard 1, 2, 3, and 4, I increase the combinations, and then each key will have a combination that it's attached to that. So to do the next thing that we're gonna do here is that we're gonna go back to our spawn item, and also I'm just gonna make sure they are like acceptable variables and stuff. So make sure this is exposed on spawn, and this is a valid combination. Also will probably be exposed on spawn, but that's okay. We may not need that, to be honest, but that's okay. Now on the spawn, if I refresh this, refresh the nodes, now I have the keys, right, that we are trying to loop and create the combinations and all sorts. So I could probably get all the children's and loop inside. That it's an option, but since I'm already doing a loop, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna promote this to a variable, and I'm gonna call the widget combination, widget combination key, and I'm just gonna make sure it's a array. Change the variable type, okay, and now I'm just gonna select this. I'm gonna add a unique value. No, I don't want to add a unique value. I'm just gonna add a value because this one could be repetitive values, and it's fine. I'm gonna add it right here. Okay, now so basically every time we loop, we have like an array index, and programming has this really annoying thing that if you used to count from 1 to 10, 1 being 1 and then 10 being 10, that's a valid point. But in programming usually starts from 0, so 0 is a number. So if you go 0s to 10, instead of having 10 values, you have 11. So we need to adjust that. So I'm just gonna add 1, and I'm gonna add the key number sequence to this. So basically what I'm doing here, guys, let's see if I can use Paint to explain. No photos, I want to use Paint. So the thing that I'm trying to do here, it's very simple, but basically you have your item. This item has, you know, keys like right, right, and right. So each key will be assigned to one value. Oh my gosh, why this is so low? So it's going to be a 1, 2, and then you're going to have 3, right? So if I press my keyboard, so as long as I'm holding control, I have how many times I press the key. So if I press, let's say, 1, and the key was, let's say, left, this guy here is gonna basically say, oh, this is not valid. So I'm just gonna not do this. But if I press, but because this is the first sequence that's not valid already, I could, in theory, just ignore everything, or I could do, you know, I could keep going. I'm probably gonna go in the down the route where I keep going to do all this stuff. But if I press the right key, then that would be positive, so it would still be on the line. And what we'll do is that I'm gonna loop through all this, and if all the keys are successful, we'll tell the main widget, which will tell the main widget, which will tell the thing to spawn the item. So it's a very like complicated logic in the paper, but as you start to build, it's not that complicated. But bear with me, we're gonna get that. So now to do this, we already know the position of the keys that we have, which is great, and we have this thing if it's valid combination or not. But we still have to do another one, which will basically loop through all this, get right key, and do all that stuff for us. Anyway, so if I press play, that's all we have. Now I need to identify if I press the key up, down, right, and left, right? So to do that, I am gonna go to my component here. And by the way, you guys can comment this and basically say handle the widget open, right? And remember that we have if the widget is visible. Let's use that variable. And now let's create another another event that will basically handle if the widget is visible and we press up, down, right, and left. And if we did that, then we can start to basically tell the widget to refresh those items where they are selected or not. But before that, I completely forgot that I was doing that if it's successful or not, we need to make sure that they are, you know, true, green, whatever the color we need to set up. So I'm going to create here, you know, I currently, like, let's say, let's create a enum. Let's do a enum. Yeah, let's do it properly. Let's go back to the variables. Let's create here a new enum. And we're going to call this, you know, e dash key status. Key status, right? And the key status will be not pressed, gonna be pressed, and it's gonna be I think successful. Maybe we can change, we can tend to correct and not correct. There you go. The reason why I'm doing as a enum is just because I need a third state, which is basically the key has been not pressed yet, so I can't do anything with the key. And that's the only reason why I have to create this enum. It's a little bit annoying. You could do using a variable, but you probably would need like another widget, variable to do that. But let's just keep it simple. So now let's change this type to key status. Yeah, change variable type. And by default, if I compile and save, they are gonna be not pressed, which is great. And now, widget, it's, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. No, not here, sorry. On the key action, we need to change the valid combination to this key status, all right? And make sure it's not pressed. Great, nice. So now we're gonna create here a custom event, and I am gonna call this, API correct, and I'm gonna create another API called, API not correct. This is a very so now what we're doing here is that if equals, this equals, right? Actually, it needs to be equals enum. Copy and paste here, right? If this is correct, sorry, not correct, and this is correct, then we can do stuff. So now what we could do here is that we're gonna get the image, and I think we can set the color and the opacity. And we could basically, I think we don't need to do that. No. So if it's correct, we're just gonna put it green for now. And if it's not correct, put it red. You create an animation. Whatever you think is better for your game, you can implement that. Now, what you're gonna do here is that you're gonna just set this, what is the key that you like to be. And then you're just gonna basically set correct, or if it's not, you're just gonna set to not correct. And that's everything we're gonna be doing right now. Right, guys, so I'm gonna pause this video for now. It's getting a little bit longer. And the next one, we're gonna be able to do this logic and control the color of the widget as you press up and down, right and left. So thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.